All right, we're live.
Sweet.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Tolman from Tolman Home Solutions with my brother Nick Tolman
How's it going?
from Aventine Home Inspections. Here today, we're going to discuss kind of behind the scenes action in home inspections, and we're running a little behind as usual, so still setting up to get this party started.
I was ready a half hour ago.
All right, here are my notes. And I just want to join on my laptop here so we can keep an eye on the questions as they're coming in here. What do we have? Be better if I knew how to do that, wouldn't it? Just bear with us, guys. There we go. Here it is.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, now I just have to mute it. And there's the chat. All right, awesome.
A little delay, huh?
Yeah, a couple second delay, guys. So if you're asking a question, just give it a minute to come through. The pitch is pretty good, huh?
Perfect.
All right, so thanks again, guys, for joining us. Owner of Aventine Home Inspections here. We're going to provide some valuable insight and answer all your questions and share our experience in home inspections and maintenance. So let's get started. If you guys join us, just give us a thumbs up in the comments section so we know you're here. And we'd love to have a little banter back and forth with you. So our first topic of discussion centers around the importance of home inspections. Home inspections are crucial for both home buyers and homeowners. Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit of why home inspections are so important and, give them a little valuable insight.
Absolutely. Well, first off, for people that don't know, we're brothers. This is my older brother, Matt. And you've been doing Tolman Home Solutions for, 20 years or so?
Oh, 20 plus.
20 plus years. And I've been doing... I've owned and operated Aventine Home Inspections for the last, since January of 21, so about just over 3 years. We also have a younger brother that I just want to give a big shout out. His birthday was this week, so happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, Daniel.
Yeah, Danielle. And so, this is our first time doing this. We have yet to be sponsored by any of the big companies.
Yet.
So wanted to figure out a way to kind of break the ice, so I wasn't sure what I should do, being brothers and all, and constantly, working together for years and fighting for many more years. So I was wondering, should I do the...
Wasn't that one and the same, working and fighting?
Yeah, no, really. Should I get the water pick out and blast you with water? Should I do the thumbtack on the seat? Or do the balls in the coffee? So,
I thought this tastes funny.
I'm just saying I did one of them, but...
and I only see a coffee in front of me.
Hey, get your mind out of the gutter. I was talking about those balls. But yeah, so Aventine Home Inspection. So the general overview of a home inspection is...
Oh, wait a minute now. I'm going to back you up now. Because now we're talking about when we worked together. So, you worked with Tolman for a while back when the old man had the business. And I can distinctly remember one job that I think that was the one where you were like, you know what? This isn't for me anymore. And you know what job I'm going to talk about?
Many jobs.
And there was a couple.
Many jobs.
Well, one that stands out to me.
Many years, many jobs.
Is we were doing underneath this barn. And we were fiberglassing. It was probably about yay high from the ground to the stud. So we're on our backs putting fiberglass up. Well, what we didn't know, the old man left out before we started the job, was that the homeowners had chickens, and they used it as their chicken coop. So if there was a thick layer of chicken shit throughout this underneath this barn.
Yeah.
And we were sliding around. Those were my drinking days, so I was, a little under the weather. And we were just sliding around in this. You could grab us, let us slide, and then we'd pick up the fiberglass and be dripping on us. And you were horrified by that job.
I'm pretty sure I was the guy handing you this piece.
Oh, you weren't under there with me?
I don't think
oh,
I
you
was.
son of a bitch.
I think I called that one. I called out on that one. Also, we did an attic where it was about 150 degrees as well. So.
Peter Merritt, what's up, cuz? Love you too.
There we go.
All right, thanks for joining us, man.
You just doubled your viewership from the first video.
0 to 1, baby. Woo!
Very good. Look at that. So home inspections basically an inspection of your home. All right, moving on.
All right, next topic.
No, a home inspection is for people that don't know, is a visual inspection of not only the home, but we're going to look at the lot. We're going to look at the roof, the siding, the driveway, the structure, the foundation. Inside the home, we're going to test windows, outlets, run water in the bathrooms and kitchens to make sure there's no leaks. It is a visual inspection, so obviously I can't see through walls. But I do run a lot of water through the system. That way, if there are any plumbing leaks in the system, hopefully we'll see it when we get down to the basement. And it's also a timestamp as well. So it's basically the condition of the house at the time of the home inspection. And, the importance of a home inspection, like most people, I always go to this, refer this, is that most people aren't going to, buy a car without test driving it, or even, go to a restaurant without looking at reviews. So why would you buy a house sight unseen and just walking in and think everything's going to be fine? With a home inspection, you're going to go through, you're going to basically get an assessment of not only the defects, but of how to operate systems, where the main water shutoff is, where the main electrical shutoff is. That way, when you go into the house, at least you're comfortable to do some of the basic operations of the house. And then with the any defects we find, we note them, and then you can work with your real estate professional to kind of team up and see what the best option is to
What
negotiate.
About structural? You guys look at structural as well?
We do. We look at the foundation. We look at the roof structure. Look at the basement structure as well. Posts, beams, joists, things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I gotta create. This is a way off notes and anything. I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. So I just looked at, and I actually, as a general contractor, you could see through the walls when we were young. What was that, Matt? All right, Pete. All right. When we were being a general contractor, I go to a lot of homes, and people that just bought the homes, they always blame the home inspector or a previous contractor. But a lot of times, new home buyers, they blame I can't believe my home inspector didn't tell me this and that. And there's a waiver. There's a waiver involved where I don't check behind the walls, like you just said, right?
Yeah.
So this new client just called, and I have to tell you this story, and tell me what you think, okay? So she just bought this house, and her husband, and it's right on a riverbed. Well, there's a sunroom off the house, and it's built on a cinder block foundation. Mm-hmm. And they had some flooding with some of the weather we've been having, and all of a sudden, within months, this has all happened to them. All of a sudden, there's a crack at the top of the wall, so they can see the crack on the foundation is starting to sink into the earth. There's cracks above, and other areas in there. The middle of the floor is sinking in. They said they had a bureau dresser or something in there, and it's not the proper terminology, and it was flat up against the wall. Well, after it started sinking, now that dresser is 3 inches off the wall at the top, and so there's sinkholes all over the yard. This thing's falling into the earth from the description she gave me. Mm. What would you? And of course they're blaming the home. They're blaming the home inspector. And or they're saying, why wasn't this caught, or whatever have you. And I don't want to say they're being nasty about it, because they're not. They're very concerned. What would you say about that? What would you say to that?
Now, are you just to clarify, are you talking about
Mom.
A stem wall.
What's up, kid? Adam Asia says hello.
You haven't changed much, have you? You're like a
Squirrel.
squirrel.
I tell all my clients that when I'm on the phone, listen, I'm a squirrel in the street. I'm going to bounce off the walls. You just reel me right back in.
I should give you decaf.
So
now you're talking a sunroom. Does this have a full basement
no,
underneath,
crawl
or is it
space,
just a crawl
cinder
space
blocks.
with a stem wall? So I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was just sitting on those.
there's probably no like true footing under there. I find it hard to believe that this problem just occurred, since they moved in, unless it was 10 years ago.
It sounds crazy,
but because you're not going to end up with sinkholes and massive cracks in the concrete block that quickly. Like a month,
so in
like
that
6
case,
months later,
In that case, don't you think that the home inspector would have seen it,
If
or
they-
did they try to hide it?
If they were there, they should have seen it. You really can't hide cracks in blocks, because even if you mortar the joints or the breaks in the block, you're still going to see the breaks, so you know that there was repairs done.
Some kind of repair,
Yeah,
right? I see a lot. I go in after new homeowners, and the previous homeowners put a 2x6 or something when you're in the basement looking at your floor joist and your rim joist. They put a 2x6 over it. Just one random 2x6 from stud to stud to hide the rot behind it, the rotted sublating things.
Yeah.
So immediately they hid that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they it's a repair. Maybe they sistered the joint or changed out the block to add. Even if they removed the broken blocks and added new blocks in there, you're still gonna know that you're gonna see the difference in the block from when they were installed. But that's why home inspections are important. I would have asked them how long ago it was and what happened, because they could have filled in the land or whatnot before they listed the house and doctored things up. You never really know. So that's why it's a timestamp from when the home inspection takes place.
Right, that makes sense.
If the ground sinks in 6 months later or 5 years down the road, whatever
Peg
it may
Erickson says hello. Do you know this woman?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Hey, Peg, it's nice to hear from you. Thanks for joining us.
So we blocked her.
I blocked her 3 times. How do you keep getting around that?
Stop harassing us.
Love you, Mom.
Yeah. So it really is a timestamp, but talking about hiding defects and things like that. I mean, it definitely occurs. You see them all the time, whether it's like new paint or maybe they finished the basement because there's cracks all throughout the foundation walls, things of that nature. So it's really that's why it is important to get the home inspection and do your due diligence when you're purchasing a real estate property.
All right. So, I could get off on how that story's going, but that's another chat for another time, I think. So, with that, and you point out like a lot of safety hazards, things like that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, safety hazards can be anything from a loose railing, electrical outlets that aren't wired correctly. Maybe there's water inside the electrical panel, because we do take the dead front cover off the electrical panels and look inside. So maybe there's water in there. I found mice in there before, which can start a fire. accidentally. Whatever it may be, there's all types of hazards you could do. Riser height being incorrect. Whatever. Even if your patio walkway is uneven, I mean, someone could trip over that and get hurt. It really depending on how old you are and if you're an older individual.
I had a gentleman. I called you on a gentleman. You did a home inspection for up in Barry.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, we're in beautiful Upton here. Can you get on there and tag Upton? And no.
And thank you, by the way, for coming all the way down here to do this.
I'm excited.
This special presentation. Just to let you know, I kind of sandbagged you because I thought Emma my daughter was going to be at that's not her real name. I don't want to put it on.
Stupid.
I thought she wasn't going to be here. I thought she was going to be at sports practice. Come to find out, it ended last week, so I could have technically went up your house. But
no, dude. I
went to your office.
I like getting out. I like taking the beast out and driving around with the stickers on the side. Get a little exposure. Get me out of the office too.
That's right.
So then, what were we saying? What were we saying? We were talking about being here in Upton, and we got Kelly. Hi, Kelly. How are you? It's great to hear from you. Thanks for joining us. So, moving on to our second topic, then, preparing for home inspections.
Yeah.
How would you recommend that a client would prepare for you to come to their home and so you can do your job more efficiently?
So typically, probably about 80% of the time, I'm on the buyer's side. But some tips for sellers, or some things that I like to avoid, is decluttering your home, which, you know, your real estate professional, when you're listing your house, will probably tell you the same thing. But decluttering your home, it's really tough to do a home inspection when there's personal belongings everywhere, whatever it may be. I mean, I've seen everything. You know, dirty laundry sprawled out everywhere, just, you know, boxes of clutter everywhere from packing. And so one thing you could do to make life easier on everyone is declutter. You know, just spruce up your yard. You know, cut back. I note in my inspection reports if the vegetation around the house, shrubs, plants, whatever it may be, are up against the house, because it can breed insects coming in, and also create rot if you have wood siding or whatnot. So, you know, if you want to do some yard work, some landscaping, cut back the vegetation, you know, fix any loose handrails, whether they're on front steps, decks, things like that. That way, you know, it's just some to get the problem out of the way ahead of time. Some things you can do.
All right. So pretty much clear up the clutter. Maybe trim your hedges back away from the house. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be. I would think that would be something that you would point out as the home inspector, right? Say, hey, you know, your hedges are on your house, or this tree's growing on your house. That's a problem for rot, insects. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
You tell them to get that
well,
right off.
Yeah, I would tell the buyer. Yeah, but I do some for the sellers where they want exactly that. They want like a pre-assessment of maybe what they're gonna look at when they see. When
Maybe the buyer's home inspector comes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
no, that makes sense.
So it kind of gets ahead of it. So yeah, stuff like that. I mean, if you have you know, temporary support columns in your basement, which are the ones that are adjustable, you see them quite frequently. You could always
just did a vlog on those.
Yeah, you could change those out ahead of time. That way, that would save you. And you know, it looks better when a buyer gets a report and it's, you know, maybe 20 or 30 pages long. Looks a lot better that way than if you got a report and it's, you know, 50, 60 pages long, because there's a 100 defects on the house.
Just simple things that could have been avoided.
Just little, ticky-tacky stuff, you know, that you can take care of ahead of time.
So, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, you know, and it sounds like just little, like you just said, little easy things to get ahead of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then, I guess if that's it for that, we'll move on to the next topic. You ready for this?
Sure.
All right. I
was born ready.
Did you take your pills this morning?
I did, yeah.
Your ugly pills?
I did, yeah.
I
doubled down on them.
You might want to triple.
Bro, I took a shower, I brushed my teeth, even put on a fresh pair of underwear for you.
All right. We got, so the next topic would be common issues found during home inspections.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk us through some of the common things you see, and how homeowners can address these problems?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll touch upon some common issues and then some uncommon issues. That way, people know kind of what to look out for. But stuff you typically see is, you know, GFCI outlets. The outlets that typically you'd see in your bathroom and kitchen that have the reset button on them. That way, if there's ever a surge in electricity, it's supposed to theoretically stop the power before you get zapped. A lot of times those are either not in the bathrooms or kitchens, or they don't work properly. So that's one of the things where you can buy them at home, you know, a hardware store. They were around $25 or $30. They're probably around 50 or 60 today.
No shit, with inflation.
But
inflation's a bitch.
But it's a pretty simple fix that, you know, a homeowner that has some general knowledge could probably do on their own. That's one of them. Open grounds is another one you'll see on a lot of older homes, where originally they might have had that two-prong outlet without that third ground wire on the outlet. So a lot of times people want to plug in their updated electronics or whatever it may be. So they change out the outlet, the 2-prong outlet, to an updated 3-prong, but they never run a ground wire. So it gives you the impression that the system's grounded like it should be, but in all actuality, it's not. So that's another common one you see a lot, just because we're in Massachusetts and there's, you know, more older homes than newer ones. Loose handrails is another one. You see it a lot of times on the steps and decks and things of that nature. Some other stuff, you know, not enough insulation, which I usually, I actually always reference Mass Save. Mass Save's a program through the state. They'll come out, give you a free energy assessment. All you have to do is call and set up an appointment, and they have great rebates and programs. They have, last I heard, it was free attic insulation. So you can have them come out and do that, and you know, you can have them do it every 3 years or so, because they're always changing. They're always up in that energy code, as you know. And
oh yeah, it's up to
they're changing it in July.
R60 now. Yeah. It happened last July. R60, and for attics, and for which I can get raising the value in attics. It's you got room up there. Walls is at R30 now. Yeah. So either we use, and I'm just gonna touch on this real quick. So we use you can either build with 2x8s or 2x10s to fit your R30, and now the cost of building your home skyrockets.
I was gonna say that people wonder and complain why house prices for new builds are so expensive now. It's not because the builder's making out and, you know, buying a house down in the Cape. It's because you know,
they keep raising these things and
codes, and it costs money.
They do
material,
and or you can now they have the cheaper option to get that R30. Is there some kind of foil barrier that is approved by the building department by the IRC book to it somehow generates heat every inch of space it has between itself and the outside wall, including where the insulation is. So if you add that over your studs, now you got this, it's like bubble wrap looking stuff, and you put it over your studs, now you got your paper staple for your vapor barrier stapled to your studs. You got this foil wrap stapled to your studs. Then you go to put, and I just had this conversation with one of my installers, you go to put your sheetrock on there, and the screws pop.
Yeah.
Because you got 2 layers of shit over your lumber, over your joint. Interior, yes. It's great. Or you can add a 3-inch or half-inch, not half-inch, inch and a half R-max to the outside or inside wall over your. It's just ridiculous the amount of building material you got to use.
I think that's for the thermal bridging between the joists and things like that, so that foam will stop any kind of heat transfer through, like, say, the lumber itself. It'll stop all that.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention that, though, because you see that once in a great while. I guess it's a bigger thing down south where the heat's a bigger problem, but they use that aluminum foil in attics. Sometimes you'll see it. They'll lay it either on the roof rafters or
to keep the heat floor, in the attic,
to reflect the heat away from the roof. To me, it's like snake oil.
The ground up newspaper we used to find in walls doing drilling blows, or I mean, I've found freaking cloths, towels stuffed in walls for insulation. It's like, when is enough? You know what I mean? And I mean, to touch on your cost to build, 10 years ago it was $250 to $350 a square foot. We're charging now $500 to $650 a square foot to build. And people are like, oh my God, are you crazy? Oh, no. Talk to your building inspectors and your representatives. Stop changing the laws and upping these energy codes.
Yeah.
Well, now your roofs are wrong.
Don't go down too.
Oh yeah, I know. You got me going down a rabbit hole now. People's roofs are gonna start rotting out for this crazy nonsense, and
well, that's why they have to put in on new builds. You see them a lot. They actually put in a ventilator.
Yeah. So now you got to install ventilators, because there's been recordings of people's homes being too tight and their own carbon monoxide getting them sick.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Get me going on a tangent, man. Where were we?
Hey, glad you got a haircut for this video.
So I
Thanks,
freshly shaved this morning. I knew I was going to see you and all these beautiful people here. So we were talking about
the common issues.
The common issues. What other common issues can there be, and how can they
glad
approach
one of
them?
us is staying on that.
I will never stay on track.
Yeah. So
just so you know, I put a link to Nick's website in the comments, guys. Click. I'm going to do it a few more times throughout the chat.
Is that Aventine Home Inspections or my OnlyFans?
Well, I don't like sharing your OnlyFans.
Okay.
The feet pics are unbelievable.
Mikey
C, what's up, my brother? I love you too, man.
He's a subscriber.
He's a subscriber. Oh, gay. Hey, only I can get to look at his feet. Real professional.
I know. So so there's some common electrical issues. If you have wood siding, rot's another issue. It's just gonna happen over time. Even if you have a newer home or you do upkeep or whatnot, around the base of the exterior doors and things of that nature, usually rot out the door jambs, the exterior door jambs. And then plumbing leaks happen every once in a while. I'll tell you, being raised in a family of contractors and you being one, when I pull up to a house and I see a contractor's vehicle or a pickup truck or something in the yard, I'm like, oh, here we go. Because it's going to go two ways, right? It's either going to be full of half-finished projects or it's going to be immaculate. So you never know with those, but one of the homeowner specials that you see quite frequently is the neck for like sinks, sink bowls and drains. They have the accordion style drain pipe.
Hold that thought. Amber, I see you got a lot of problems over there. Ask away. Ask what we could do to help. Ask Nick about, what if he can help you, guide you through your problems. This is what we're here for today. So hit us with it. I'll keep an eye on the chat. See what you put up here. Frankie, how you doing, man? What's up, step brother? Love you, bro. There ain't no blood in brothers, man. We could take the step right out of there, baby. But Amber, please ask away if you got questions or send pictures in the chat. We'll see if we can answer them to the best of our knowledge, all right? You were saying the accordion. Hey, we're here for them, man. Don't give me that look. It ain't about you. We're here. The accordion vents, bathroom fan vents.
So hi, I'm Nick Tolman with Aventine Home
It's a
Inspections.
pleasure to meet you, man. Hey, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. First and last time.
You ain't never had so much fun.
No, so it's actually the drain. It looks like an accordion. It's if your P-trap or your drain pipe doesn't line up with the flex one.
Oh, I've never used those.
Yes.
So, no, never.
So that's a total homeowner special or contractor special. But the problem with those there's so many grooves in the pipe, it's gonna get clogged up easily, and they always leak. So that's another one you see all the time. Loose toilets is another one you see all the time. Again, if you're looking to list your house at some point soon, make sure your toilets aren't loose. Just give them a little nudge with the foot and see if it moves. If it does, tighten up the bolts. Just don't over tighten them because you will break the porcelain. But it is good to snug those up because there's a wax ring in between the toilet and the main drain line, and it will leak over time just from people sitting on it. Some of the uncommon issues is one I wanted to bring up, and I actually have a map over there of it, is paratite. It's been on the news quite a bit. If you look on the side there. But
this thing? Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
Is anybody here? It's paratite.
Hold that thought.
Oh, mother.
That Amber, the deck that was built was not done properly. The side of the house is rotting. We don't know how bad it actually is. Yeah. Travis is afraid we will have to.
That's because the ledger board wasn't flashed properly, which again, I would definitely know on a home inspection. You always look for that Z flashing that goes over the ledger board, and you try to see there should be a secondary flashing behind that as well, or the primary flashing should be either, copper or ice and water shield, something to
100%.
separate the plywood from the PT.
I'd say ice and water before the ledger board goes, and then Z flash.
Yep, on
but
top of that, yep.
Amber, can you see the rot on the inside of the home? Is it that bad where you could see where the lumber on the inside of the home around the floor joists, their sill plate, are those rotting? I don't think you'd have to necessarily lift the house. It could be temporarily braced to the floor joists, and then the rot can be repaired without lifting the home to fix this.
The deck would be a problem on the other side, though.
Yes, the deck would have to come off. The deck, 100%.
That's the unfortunate part. I mean, something as easy as flashing before at the start of the project. If you miss that step, now to fix that, you actually have to remove the whole deck, and it's a big cost.
Yeah,
for most people.
Yep, 100%, and that's actually segues as well. No, I really would like to hear about the foundation issue too. I'm gonna keep an eye on this chat. I really want to help Amber out. Well, that's what we're here for, baby. I want to help you out, Amber, and answer any concerns you have here. This can be it's a problem, but it's definitely not the worst that it could be. I believe so. Under the baseboard in the dining room looks rotted. We think Travis already started taking it apart. Travis already started taking it apart. Well, again, I don't think you need to raise the house, regardless of the rot situation. Unless you see your footings in the basement sinking into the basement. Even then, you could slowly pump it up. But this sounds more of a deck water issue that wasn't properly flashed.
Could be.
And I think it's temporary supports under the floor beams, joists, and it's disconnecting the deck. I would let Travis know that, and I've seen it before 1,000 times over, and I'm sure you have an inspections.
Yep, absolutely. So my hourly spam is coming in.
Yeah. Oh, nonstop, right? Mikey knows about the spam all day, I'm sure, being in his business.
Yeah.
So you got it anytime, Amber.
Did you know Yetis are shy?
Yetis are shy.
Yeah. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not.
Learn something new every day.
Oh, yeah. So tell us more about the foundation issue here.
Sure. Okay, you good?
Last time I'm doing it with this clown.
So crumbling foundations, you might have heard about it on the news. It's kind of a hot topic around Massachusetts the last several years. There are some towns in particular that are kind of the hotbed in the state. It originated kind of...
What's the stuff called again?
It's called pyrrhotite.
I'm going to put that in the chat, guys, so you can look it up, see if your area is affected.
Probably not how you'd think, but it's Pyrrhotite. Did you actually know that?
I did, man. That's what I do.
Hot the trap. So Canada's known about it for 20 plus years or so, but Connecticut about 10 years, it started to become kind of public knowledge where there's a quarry that basically mined aggregate to be used for concrete foundations, had a mineral in it called pyrrhotite. It's used for the aggregate, the filler for the concrete, and basically what happens with the pyrrhotite is it's a soft mineral, so when it mixes with air and oxygen, it will kind of break down, and when it breaks down in the concrete, it has nowhere to go but outward, so it pushes everything around it out, and it basically will cause, and it appears that it'll cause your concrete to basically crumble. So it appears that the foundation's crumbling, but you'll end up with cracks. Almost looks. I always say, joking, not that it's a funny matter, but it looks. If you're looking at your basement wall and it's starting to look like a Boston city map, street map, then it's probably pyrrhotite.
Cracks are going every which way.
Going everywhere.
That was the question I had for you.
It's called map cracking or map-like cracking, or some people call it spider cracking.
So if they see, and actually I called you on this not too long ago, a job I looked at. If you see, a little bit of a vertical crack, right?
Yeah.
And or like a maybe spotty foundation, that could be just a poor mix or settling.
Yeah, usually vertical cracks. I mean, super common.
Yeah.
Every foundation has them. It's just
So don't over worry.
the concrete cures, it kind of shrinks at that point, and you get some cracks, or maybe the house maybe settled just a hair. Right?
And you do core sampling of the foundation.
I do, yes. I do core sampling. I actually met at a group a few years ago, mass residents.
How's that work?
Against crumbling foundations, and they kind of put. I already heard about this. I looked into it a little bit. I went to they had like a informational meeting in Auburn, and I went to it and met them, and that kind of pushed me in the direction of doing the core samples. So you can do two things. A lot of times for buyers, if they see something concerning, they'll call and they'll talk to me about it. Unfortunately, sellers aren't going to let you do the core sample because it is a little bit invasive to the foundation. But, I always let them know we can do a visual inspection, and, I can give you my best professional opinion. And,
but homeowners,
and we can go from there.
If let's say they're concerned and they want to know.
So being that, the real estate market the last few years, unfortunately, a lot of people have waived inspections, and it hasn't worked out for a lot of people in their favor. So a lot of times I'll get a call saying, they moved in a couple of years ago, they didn't have the house inspected, and now, whether the basement was finished or not, but they're noticing cracks and water coming in, so we'll look at it, and so you can do a core sample, which that will basically get sent to, I'll core, I have a drill bit, it's probably about, just under 2 feet long or so, and it will core a 4-inch sample out of the foundation straight through, and I'll do 2 of those, and I'll send them to a lab in Canada.
It goes all the way up to Canada?
It does, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I love talking to them guys, they're great. Yeah, the accent's worse than mine. And they'll send me a nice detailed report with like the percentage of pyrrhotite that's present. Sulfide also has to be present, so they'll give me that percentage. And any recommendations, they'll break down, where where that percentage lays with other tests they've done. And then, I just FYI, I do fill the holes that I take with hydraulic cement, so there's never any leaks or anything like that after the fact. But
what happens if it comes back positive?
So it basically comes back with a percentage. So it's not a definitive answer what's going to happen, because it takes about 10 years or so, 10, 15 years before you start to see any effects. Once you see effects, they do accelerate, because once you get cracks, it's going to allow more air, more water into those cracks, which is going to accelerate the process. So, so unfortunately, once it gets to that point, there's not much a homeowner can do other than replace the foundation. So I've met some great companies along the way that they will actually jack the house up on basically stilts. They'll do the deck, everything, the chimney, and they'll demo the concrete, and then
they got to do that. They disconnect in the homeowner's got to move out.
Yep.
Disconnect the power,
everything, plumbing,
everything,
heating units. They take it all out.
And what do? They put it on those pallets and stack the pallets.
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
They dig the whole thing out. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see. Unfortunately, so Connecticut has some programs in place that will help the homeowner.
Cool.
With replacing it. Massachusetts, unfortunately, does not. They have programs to reimburse the homeowner for the testing, the core testing and the visual.
Well, I'm not shocked, though.
So, but not yet. Yeah, it's going through, not to go down the rabbit hole, but it's going through, legislation for the last few years, going back and forth, Then you know how that goes. So,
yeah.
So hopefully it comes, but, they're still in the process for that. But, that's one reason why, you definitely want to get a home inspection, because you don't want to go, you're going to pay, maybe $600 to $800 maybe for the home inspection, but replacing that foundation.
What's the foundation cost?
It's going to cost you anywhere from $200 to $300,000 to do that.
Because they got a jack, disconnect.
They're ripping the foundation out.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So, and that's not even if you have a finished basement. That won't even include the finished basement.
Right. That's just your concrete.
That's just taking it up and putting it back down. Yep.
The and it's good to check with whoever you're calling for your home inspection. Make sure they know this shit.
Which a lot of people don't.
I know. You're the first home inspector I've worked with or seen that knows about that common issue. Yeah. And it is more common than you like to think.
Which is,
are you licensed? Amber's asking, are you licensed in Connecticut? Who are you asking? Myself or Nick here? Who I'm not licensed in Connecticut. You licensed in Connecticut?
I am for home inspections.
So Nick's licensed for home inspections. If you're asking me, there is I guess you'd call it like a pass license that a contractor can file for temporary work.
Like a day pass?
Like a day pass, yeah. And I wear it around my neck normally, kidding Amber. But yes, Nick is licensed and
like a visitor pass.
we can apply for a visitor pass. We have jobs up in Maine and Rhode Island and New Hampshire we do all the time where it's very easy to obtain.
Yeah. But I'm licensed in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island for home inspections.
I thought you weren't allowed in Rhode Island anymore for that thing. Remember that thing?
Keep that.
Oh yeah. I would assume you have to hit. I would have to hit you up. I would have to hit you up sooner, but I assumed you weren't.
You weren't probably licensed.
No, I'm not. But again, you can get those temporary licenses to do some work. If there's something you want me to help you with, you shoot me an email, Amber, or just reach out on Facebook with a message. Send me pictures if it's about the deck. Yeah, hit me, will you?
It's cold.
It's cold?
It's ice coffee.
Who drinks cold coffee?
Yeah, who drinks hot coffee in 85-degree weather? It's hotter than a Brazilian beach party.
I saw your balls roll off the table, so yeah, Amber, just send me a message. If it's about the deck, send me pictures of the rot, and I can definitely get some numbers together for you, or whatever you need, Amber. I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So some other issues that we're gonna run into, some other reasons why you wouldn't want to waive a home inspection is because sometimes you're gonna take off the electrical panel cover, and we're gonna find the whole thing's rusted out. So you'd have to replace that. Sometimes the heating unit's no good. I've run boilers and they start, the boiler's cracked and it basically starts leaking water. If you're buying a house in the summertime, you might not think to test the heat because it's, 70, 80 degrees outside, but you want to run that boiler just to make sure that it runs sufficiently and you're getting heat where you're supposed to.
Okay. So that's a lot of common problems.
Well, some of those are uncommon. Like usually the boiler's in good shape.
Yeah.
The electrical panel's usually pretty good unless it's older home. The foundation, depending on where it is. I do well testing. I recently did a well test. The well was shallow and it basically ran out of water. It wasn't drilled deep enough, and so the homeowner, the seller ended up drilling a new well for the buyer, and it saved him about 20 grand on that. So it's definitely worth the cost for the home inspection and that well test. I charge $145, and they got a brand new well out of it.
So that's on top of the...
That's like an auxiliary service I do, as well as radon testing. I do that as well, and water quality testing.
All right.
So you're a keyboard warrior with the 2-finger typing.
You and Danielle. Don't worry about my 2-finger typing. I'm typing.
So you're gonna get arthritis just those.
I'm used to swiping. All right. So moving on to topic 4 then. Let's discuss some essential maintenance tips for homeowners. Regular things they could do that plays a significant role in preserving the value of their home. Any advice there you can give homeowners?
Keep up with your annual maintenance. You want to make sure that, again, vegetation's cut back from the house. Any rot around the house is replaced, whether it's siding, trim, whatever it may be. You want to make sure your air handler, your furnace, your boiler, you service those annually, depending on what it is and what the fossil fuel is. If it's oil, you want to use oil for heat. You want to service it every year. Gas, typically you can get away with every other year, or if it's a brand new unit, you can probably do every 5 years or so. And if it's electric, you're usually pretty good. You just have to clean the ducts and the duct work and
Is
change the
there
filters.
is there somewhere that they can find the service kind of schedule, like on their furnaces or boilers or?
I mean, I let them know when I'm there. I do tell them, whether it needs to be serviced right away or, to do it annually. Usually, when I'm there and there's no service tag that the technician would put on the heating unit or cooling unit, I'll just say, you should get it done after or either in the fall before you turn on the heat, or when you move in, get it done. I'll check the filter. If the filter's caked with dander and dust and whatnot, I'd let them know to change that. If there's any chimneys or fireplaces in there, especially if it's a wood burning fireplace, I always recommend to get those cleaned by a professional chimney sweep before you first use, because you don't know the last time those were actually cleaned, how much they were used. They could be full of creosote, which would definitely be a risk of starting a chimney fire.
When I got moved into my place, we had it inspected because of that reason. I was concerned, and they found cracks in the mortar joints, which they said what will happen is that fire can go through that crack, and then you got a wind tunnel where it's just going to go, and if you got an old home, poof.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And so things like that you can do. Obviously, keep up with painting, and if you plan on doing maintenance, keep up with painting. And if you have wood windows, that's a big one. I always let the buyer know, if you have wood windows, make sure you don't leave them open in if you have inclement weather, because the window, if it gets wet, may swell, and that's when you can't open or close the window or lock it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to keep up with maintenance on usually the interior is painted, so stay up with that. And
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome advice. What about pest control? What can they do to help keep termites, mice out of their homes, things like that? Is that even something?
I do a pest and insect inspection. VA require a VA loan for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Requires insect inspection, or WDO, wood destroying organisms inspection. So I do that as well. You can have either a 3-month, 6-month service where you have an exterminator come out. They'll lay bait traps or spray around the house for insects.
So 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, but again, I mean, going back to cutting back that vegetation away from your house, the shrubs and trees and whatnot, that's going to keep the insects and pests away. A big one for mice is around the garage doors. You have that rubber kind of gasket that goes around the door.
The weather stripping there.
Piece, yeah. A lot of times, mice in the wintertime, they'll chew right through the bottom of that, and that's an open door for them to go in and out of your house. So and from there they can go anywhere.
That's why I don't even fix my weather stripping. I just let them in, because they're just gonna ruin it anyways. I don't want to keep buying that shit.
You're inviting.
Yeah, just let them in.
You're a nice guy.
That's it.
Everyone's welcome.
They don't even fucking pay rent.
Everyone's welcome. Neither do you. So that's true.
All right. Well, that's cool to know. That's good to know, man. Guys, hey, keep the questions coming in the chat. We're here for you. That's what this is all about. We got about 15 minutes left here, so get it out there. Like and share. Go to Nick's website. Check it out. Go to him on Facebook. Check it out, and see what he offers. I also have a link to Nick's company on our website at www.tolman.pro. You can go right there. Go to the name of his company, Aventine Home Inspections. Click on it. It'll take you right to his website. So going to topic 5, our final topic centers around the decisions between DIYers and hiring a professional. We'll discuss kind of the pros and cons of both approaches and offer guidance for which is best to tackle their maintenance tasks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've seen a lot. There's not much that, I know that can't be fixed, right? Most things can be resolved. And it depends on the homeowner. What's their skill level? I tell people that it can be a pretty simple fix for most things, but, for you or I, it may be pretty easy, just a trip to the hardware store. For other people, which, you know, I have to continually remember this, some people don't even own a hammer. They don't know what to do and never really did any projects besides what they looked at on YouTube and tackled. But so it really depends on the homeowner's skill level. You know, if you're not comfortable with doing electrical work, don't do electrical work. Call a professional. If you're not, you know, comfortable with replacing a deck or adding stairs or adding handrails, then call a professional contractor. You know, same with like if you roof or siding, whatever it may be. So it really depends on what the homeowner is comfortable with. You know, if you really don't know, if you never really tackled any of those projects, you might just want to call a professional and see what they can offer you for services. You know, and that's where you come in and do it.
Well, I find a lot of people will, and it boils down to typically the budget, right?
Yeah.
We all live by a budget, especially with the world we live in. You know, it's things are tight. And what I find people don't kind of consider is the projects are try to tackle them, they try to DIY it, and then it makes it worse, and then it costs more to fix. You know, so get a couple estimates or whatever. We got Chris here says needs to get 3 new outdoor doors. Chris, that's we could definitely help you with that. Feel free to reach out. Send me a message on Facebook or on the website. Send me some pictures of the doors you want replaced. We can talk numbers. Anytime, man. Anytime you want to reach out, go right ahead, my friend. Appreciate you joining us. So that's what I would say. I think that there's definitely certain things that can be done.
Yeah.
But I think you need to recognize your capabilities.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hanging a blind. Other times it's you know, building a deck. So it really just depends on that person's skill level.
I mean, it's heartbreaking to me when people they lay plywood over an existing deck that's been rotting for 10 years and their feet are going through it, so they put plywood down, and then they call me and say, I got a 5-year-old, I'm worried he's going to fall through, and I'm shit you not, this happens, and it's just, it's tough because they can't even do anything about it, but it was just allowed to progress that long, and, you know,
which I see deferred maintenance.
Constantly. Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
I'm guilty of it.
There's a bunch of reasons, whether they don't have time or they don't have the financial backing for it, or whatever it may be. So, but yeah, sometimes you go in and sometimes the person's just delusional to the fact that the house is falling down into the ground, and again, they think it's tip-top shape. But
100%.
You just gotta, you know, keep an open eye and open mind with everybody's experience.
Yeah, it's you know, and no matter how much you think you know what someone's going through, and you're like, well, why did they allow this to happen? You really don't know. You don't know why it is where it is.
And touching upon you know, the children, that didn't really work right.
No, yeah, that's why it's not allowed in Rhode Island.
Going back.
Just kidding. We're just kidding. Calm down.
Talking about Christ, Jesus. There you go. I almost made it through the whole hour without swearing. Now I'm done. Gloves are off. You know, to go back with small children, sometimes, like I'll test the water for how hot it is, and if it's too hot, I will put that in the report as well, just because, you know, small kids, if they're washing up or whatnot, they may not be, and they happen to flip that handle all the way as hot as it can get. They may not have the, you know, cognitive ability to get out of the shower fast enough, because, I mean, if the water's hot, you know, 140, 150 degrees, you can scald yourself in under a few seconds. So, you know, I will note stuff like that, you know, again, like handrails, stuff that nature, I'll know. GFCI outlets in bathrooms, I'll know, just because you know, if the kid's brushing their teeth or something and they end up dropping the, you know, whatever it may be, plugged in, everything's battery operated now, so everything needs to be charged. So if they drop something into the water, you want to make sure that GFCI is
Pops.
working.
Yeah.
The way
So
it
do you
should.
actually test that? Do you like plug it in and drop something in the water?
I do, yeah.
Do you keep your hand in the water when you test it?
That's why I kind of
a little fucked up.
Talk a little slower.
Yeah. It doesn't always work.
No.
No, gotta get that fixed.
The
smoke coming out.
Third one in the house. I do have a little tester. It's a little electrical tester. I mean, it's fairly inexpensive. I think it was $30. But yeah, you just plug it in, you hit the little button, and it will trip the GFCI outlet. So that's how you basically find out if they're working or not.
Okay.
And that will tell you how it has different lights on it to tell you if things are wired correctly as well.
Yeah. Oh, the lights on the GFCI tell you if it's wired correctly, or on the tester?
The tester.
Okay. So I've always been curious though. How, if say my son, for instance, my youngest, he's always got his phone on. He's in the shower. He's got his phone there, and I've caught him only once because I told him about after this, but he had it charging. No. And you know, these kids, I mean, I was a kid once. We do stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
How reliable is a GFCI if a kid would drop his phone in the water charging? I mean, is it gonna...
Let's go test it.
Let's do it. Get a bucket of water.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, well, that's why I test them.
Yeah.
That will tell you. Now, I mean, how quick is it?
Next show's with an electrician.
I couldn't really tell. You know, is it under a millisecond? I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know how quick.
I mean, my kid's already a little slow. I don't need any help.
Really, I mean, I dropped one or two hair dryers in the sink. But yeah, I'm not sure with that. I mean, I'd recommend you just don't have anything plugged in by the sink bowl. But
yeah, now my curiosity is
that is why cords for like coffee makers and
are so short. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
So you can't
drop it in the sink. I never thought.
The same with outlets.
That's so annoying. I plug extension cords with 6-ways on the end.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Right, and run it across the sink and then do my dishes.
Yeah, you put the little 6-way on there, and you got everything on there. Yeah. Fans, AC, microwave.
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know why the circuits keep tripping.
I don't know.
So we're getting real close to the wrap up time here, man. And I got to tell you guys, thank you so much for joining in on us and being involved in this. You know, I love the questions that are coming in. I love that people are commenting. I was, you know, hoping for a little bit more interaction, but hey, with baby steps, we're getting there. Nick, is there anything before we wrap this up and close out? Is there anything you want to touch on that we didn't discuss that you'd like to let the audience, the viewers know here?
You know, I just again recommend, you know, if you have any questions, to reach out. I'm always available to answer questions. I make sure I mention that to everyone. I met a lot of great, you know, real estate professionals and people in the field, and I always let them know that if they have questions, whether you're looking to buy, whether you moved in, whatever it may be, you're always welcome to call, text, email, whatever it may be. And then it's
all
great.
Right. I peppered Nick's website into the chat quite a few times. You can also see there's a link below in the description of this video. And I already thank you all for joining us. We hope you found a lot of this information valuable and that you can use it. And remember, there's also a link on my website to get to Aventine Home Inspections. And just you know, keep in mind those simple tricks that Nick shared with us today about maintenance, the bushes off the house, just checking. Give us a couple other ones. That was the big one. We kept bringing that one up. I felt like we kept reverting to that. Keeping the
rot. Well, yeah, with insects and pests and whatnot, and
Amber's problem about the ledger board.
Yeah.
Check your flashing on your deck.
Yep. If you have any vertical cracks.
Thanks for joining us, Frankie, Chris. Awesome to have you guys involved with us. And then there was like 2 others that really stood out to me. for maintenance.
I mean, keep up with the exterior painting and things of that nature.
Keep that water out of the house.
Yeah.
All right.
Water out. Water does a lot of damage. You have any cracks, vertical cracks in the foundation, make sure they're sealed up. Keep moisture out.
Guys, like and share this. Subscribe to it. It'll be up on YouTube. Share it with your friends. Let's get y'all more involved for the next one. The end of next month, we're going to be doing another live Q&A. I want to see a lot of action, a lot of interaction on here. Nick, can you give them a link to your website?
Yeah, sure. What, you want me to throw that in?
No, just shout it out.
Yeah, www.aventineHomeInspections.com.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for joining us today. And I don't know how to back out of this freaking thing.
Have a good one.
So we're still here for a few minutes. If anybody want to pepper in some, till I figure out how to close it down, you pepper in some questions. Account. No, that ain't it.
Click that. Click that.
Click what?
Click that.
I'm clicking.
Click.
I'm clicking.
I'm just gonna leave, man.
Help! Help!
Peace out.